girl, I'm Bossy, and welcome back to the Shan Show. So for today, I want to do something a little different. You know, typically on Mondays, I do like playful videos and things like that, but I want to do something a little more serious. As you can see from the title, this is going to be 5 easy steps to gain 200 points on your credit score within 30 days. Yes, I know. Sounds crazy, sounds bizarre, but unlike the others, this is not clickbait. So before I get into it, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that bell right next to it, turn on your post notifications so that every time I drop a new video, you get that heat straight to your phone or your email. Make sure you like this video and leave me some comments down below if anything else you guys would like me to cover, any other credit tips that I didn't cover, or anything that you guys would like to discuss outside of this. Leave it down below in my comments. You already know I reply to everybody. And last but not least, make sure you share this video. All right, that's enough of me talking. I'm about to get right into it. So let me start on why I actually decided to do this video. I decided to do this video because I'm young, you're young. Some of us may not know about credit, or some of us don't think or don't know that credit is as important as it is until you get to about 25-ish. So I wanted to make this video so that it's you're hearing these tips from a young person like myself, and it's something that's relatable from me to you. And you know, sometimes it's easier to hear things from your peers rather than from an elder. So I'm gonna break this down to y'all as simple as possible, and it's just a couple quick easy steps, nothing too crazy, nothing too strenuous, and they're not gonna be in any particular order. I'm just gonna throw them out there, and yeah, let's get started. So step one, create a Credit Karma account. Now I suggest Credit Karma because 1, it's free, 2, once you have created your account, you get to see a full breakdown of everything on your credit, whether positive or negative. It gives you timelines. It's really like just about your credit updates for dummies. Like, it's very basic, it's very user friendly. They suggest credit cards for your credit limit. They suggest auto loans, anything that you really need help with. And they also have like live chats with people if you had a specific question about something or a dispute or anything like that. So first things first, create a Credit Karma account. The second thing I will suggest, once you create that account, look and see if you have any derogatory marks on your account. Derogatory marks are anything you would have in collections, or pretty much any collections, bills, or debts. So what you want to do is check out those collections debts and pay those off as soon as possible. Those are like almost the heaviest thing that weigh down your credit. You do not want any bills and collections. Like, okay, so pay off all collections of debts, get rid of those bills, and get that into the green. Next thing I would suggest is, if you don't have a credit card, so if you're someone like me, I went through college, got out of college, did all of that, and did not have a credit card. I got my first credit card, I would say maybe 3 years ago. And for those of you who don't know, no credit is just as bad credit. So what I did was went on my Credit Karma and saw where I stood initially, and then I saw the options that they had for credit cards. Now, choosing a credit card can be tricky because there are a lot of bad cards out there. I don't even want to get into that topic right now because it's ridiculous. There are a lot of credit cards out there, but what you want to look for is something with low interest and low fees, and something that's feasible for you to stay on top of. So my very first credit card I started out with was a Capital One card, and it has 0 interest, and it starts you off at a $200 credit limit. Now, every 6 months, the card will increase your credit limit, little by little. And I think that's very helpful for someone who has never had credit before, because one, it helps you gauge your finances and be more responsible with them. And two, it doesn't give you a ton of money up front and then you're not used to this, you don't know what to do with it, so you just spend it. Complete no. So I would suggest starting out with a small card so that you can get the hang of it, learn how the flow of it goes, learn your payment cycle, and things like that. So that was the first card I had. You know, I would definitely recommend it for, like I said, someone fresh out of college or someone in college to, you know, you can use that for groceries, gas, small stuff like that if you want to do like a bookstore purchase, whatever, what have you. But definitely is something to keep for small purchases so that you can maintain it. Next tip I would give is to, when you get that credit card, try not to spend more than 5% of the credit limit that they give you. So if they give you $100, don't spend over $20. You feel me? Okay, so the reason I say 5% is because when you look at go back to your Credit Karma, your credit card will now be up there and it'll show your credit limit. Credit Karma goes in colors from green to red. So within the, I believe 0 to 9% of usage is green, and so on and so forth. But once you're using that Credit Karma, you want to stay within that green percentile. Once you come out of that green range, then it could either decrease your points or you won't gain any points for the next month or the next payment cycle, which that's the whole point of getting a credit card, because you're trying to gain the points. So staying in that staying in that percentile range in the green will definitely keep you in good standing with your credit card. Another thing is, when you're paying your credit card off, that leads me into the next step. When you're paying off your credit card, the first thing you want to do is check and see when your payment cycle ends. Well, for maximizing the increasing of your points for when it comes to the credit card itself, you want to make a payment prior to your end of the payment cycle, and you also want to make another payment right after that, because it goes through all 3 credit bureaus. The first payment before will be you can do either the minimum payment that they require or that they ask of, because of course they're not going to require it, because you not paying it helps them. So they're going to ask you for a minimum amount. You can either pay that minimum or you can pay more than that minimum. I personally would recommend to at least pay the minimum and then pay more, like I said, right after the date that it's due on. Or if you want, you could pay the card off before the due date, or pay, more than the expected amount prior to the due date. So it's 3 ways you can make payments on that will help your credit score. But from my experience, the most effective has been to make a payment bigger than the expected amount before the due date, and then pay like another $15, $20, some slight after the due date. So that way, on to your credit, it's showing that you're paying it off expeditiously, fast. Showing that you're paying it off fast. It shows that you're responsible. It's showing that you're learning how to build your credit. So it's showing the bank that you are taking the initiative and being responsible with your money. The next tip I want to go into, it's not really a tip, it's more so information. On Credit Karma, you'll see a section for hard inquiries. You want to stay away from those. I believe the green is for, I think, 2 hard inquiries at the max. Now, those are when you sign up for a card credit card, when you do any type of loans, so like an auto loan, a bank loan, anything of that nature, anything where they have to run your credit and do a hard check, then it's going to make a mark on your credit, and those marks don't fall off for 2 years. So when you're going to get a new car or something like that, just be mindful when you're trying to figure out the bank you want to choose, because every place that they're running your credit to see if you are qualified for their loan is a hard inquiry going on your credit. So be very, very, very mindful of who you're giving your social out to, and if they're running a hard or a soft check on your credit. Because like I said, those marks stay for 2 years, and with that, is literally nothing you can do with it out. So yeah, be mindful of that. That pretty much wraps up my tips. I wanted to give a bonus tip. This could be for someone who already has a decent credit and who's trying to get an additional boost. What I would suggest is to go to your bank, take out a small loan, maybe like a couple thousand, 5,000, whatever, depending upon your what's on your credit report. So before I get into that, when you look at your credit report, it'll show you how many accounts that you have open. So for like me, I was in college, so I have multiple student loan accounts on my credit. Even if you get them all compressed into one loan, it'll still show up on your credit as individual, which sucks, but yeah. So what you can do is those smaller balances, that's a couple hundred or 1,000 and some change or whatever, what have you, what you can do is you can go to the bank, take out a loan, a small loan, and pay off some of those student loans or whatever the small loans that are on your credit. So what that's doing is, yes, you're taking out a loan from one place, but you're also closing out 2 and 3 loans, maybe even more, that's on your credit. So it's going to ding you for taking out the loan, but it'll be an even greater impact for paying off multiple loans at one time and closing those accounts. So that one is like a catch-22, but like I said, it's for someone who is more so down the line, who has decent credit already and trying to get an additional little boost. That will definitely help you out. For sure. All right, y'all. So that pretty much wraps up my tips, wraps up my videos. That's all I have for you right now. Like I said before, if you have anything that I didn't cover, or if you have any additional questions about anything, make sure you leave it down below in the comments. I will for sure get back to you guys. You already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that post notification bell right next to it, so that every time I drop a new video, you get that heat straight to your phone or your email. Make sure you like this video. And last but not least, share this video with your friends, family, social media, whoever. Share it with your damn dog, okay? Just make sure your dog like it. All right, y'all, I'm out of this thing. Bye.